Alright guys, thanks for checking out my first video, just kind of introducing Dark. I did want to offer a little bit more detail as to the first episode, like what actually happens. So basically, it takes place in a small town in Germany called Winden. And this town is really the main source of the economy comes from this nuclear power plant, which is obviously a thing of the past. And so there's this threat of it being shut down. Now, the episode starts with two adults having sex, and that ends up being one of the detectives in the story named Ulrich, who's very relevant moving forward. He's a great character. You guys will love him. And he's having an affair with Hannah. Now, Hannah is the husband of the man who killed himself. So he hung himself in the attic, and he's Jonas's father. Now, this show has a lot going on. So if you guys have any questions, you can refer to the comments and I'm happy to answer them. But I can only cover so much because there's a lot of characters and there's a lot of different story arcs. So I'm just going to cover as much as I can. The story starts as well with this young boy named Eric Obendorf, and he goes missing. And he's kind of the first boy missing in like this, current present time. But then at the end of the episode, you see Mikkel, which is Martha's and Magnus's little brother, who tags along with them to the cave to get the drugs. He gets lost because they hear a big sound out of the caves. They all freak out. They go running. Jonas has him, but then Jonas trips and falls. He loses Mikkel, and Mikkel just disappears. So Mikkel disappears at the end of the episode. Don't know what happened to him. And there's also a tie-in to Ulrich. When he was a child, his brother actually disappeared. So you have Eric, who disappeared in current time, Mikkel, who disappeared at the end of the episode, and then you have Ulrich's brother, I can't remember his name. He disappeared when him and Ulrich were children. So basically we have three missing children at this point. One in the past, one that happened that we don't see, but it happened at the beginning of the episode, and then one that happened at the end of the episode. So just a quick recap as well. Jonas's father, Michael, he killed himself. He hung himself. Jonas struggled. He actually, it's kind of suggested that he went to like a clinic to have his mind worked on. But he's struggling, and while he was away, one of his friends, Bartosz, depending on how you want to pronounce it, he is like his best friend, but he started dating like the girl he was interested, who's Martha. And Martha and Jonas are a huge part of this story, so you'll just fall in love with both the characters once you start watching the show. Jonas, you can't take your eyes off of, and Martha is the perfect female lead that you want, especially as an adolescent. She just knocks it out of the park. So the episode kind of ends with Eric, the boy who went missing at the beginning of the episode that we never really met. We see him in this basement with like this 80s music playing on this little portable TV, and he's getting locked into this chair with like this like gold head thing, and he's strapped in, and this guy with this big raincoat, and he's basically, it's like suggested that it's like torture or something's about to happen, but we don't really know. And at the end of so at the end of the episode we see that, and then at the end of the episode we also find, the police find a dead boy found in the woods, and Ulrich freaks out and he thinks it's Mikkel, so he goes running. He sees that it's not, but you see that the eyes are all burnt out. And obviously it's in relation to what we see at the end of the episode with Eric. Because Eric, at the end of the episode, is the one who's getting strapped into this. But before that, we see the boy. We don't know who this boy is. Just a boy dressed in 80s clothes, has these massive burn marks over his eyes. And in this first episode, it is hinted that there could be an element of some kind of time. I don't know if it's travel or some kind of time related science fiction type suggestion. Let's just say that. So there's something on top that could be adding into all of this, but it's barely touching the surface. But one thing to really focus on moving forward is the story of the adolescents. You know, Magnus and Martha, their brother and sister. Once again, Mikkel is their brother who went missing. Francesca, who's in the story, she smokes the joint with Magnus. And Martha and Jonas, they are such an integral part of this story. But I just wanted to kind of delve a little bit deeper into episode 1 so we could have a better feel. I'll be back for episode 2 once I cruise through it. And thanks, guys. Any questions, like I said, leave in the comments. This show, you're going to have a ton of questions. I'm happy to answer any as best as I can, because the show is extremely difficult to follow sometimes. But make a character map. It actually helps a ton. But just sit back and watch it. And, you know, you may need to watch it twice, and that's okay. You'll enjoy it. Check it out. I'll be back for episode 2.